tired by the end. I can already tell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how long are you going for?
Uh, I think I'm gonna try and go for somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours. I normally like to keep it to only an hour, but since this is a launch game, I just really want to play it. I'm gonna go for 2 hours, and it's
Solid.
kind of an even number, 10 p.m. to midnight. So
Hey, good excuse
let's
to play some Horizon Zero Dawn.
yeah. It's been sitting right here on my desk for 2 days, and oh my gosh, it's backwards. And I haven't been able to play it, and I'm so upset, and that is thunder, if you can hear that.
Are you already getting hit by the storms?
Oh yeah, we were on a tornado watch for 45 minutes or so, so that was fun. That was fun.
Ooh. Yeah, it hasn't quite started raining here yet. We heard a little bit of thunder, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't bad because it was going like 50 miles an hour, so it was only really bad for like half an hour. And now it's just kind of random thunder, rain, garbage.
Woo!
So hey everyone. Ryan's in the chat. Awesome. So I can largely ignore it like I normally do.
Yeah, let me just do all of your labor, Nate, as usual.
Thank you. It makes my
All
job
right.
so much easier.
Hello,
Jose's
everybody.
in a car on his phone.
I am. Things are moving around.
It is not super ghetto. Don't anyone worry.
we promise. This is a thing.
It is a totally professional setup. He has the 3-point lighting system with him mobile and our boom mic. You just cannot see it. No worries.
I'm getting this motherfucking Switch, okay? It's gonna happen.
Oh, already. Put a $1 in the curse jar for Jose.
Oh, all right. Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
I can, but
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Hopefully the rain doesn't sound as bad now. Oh man, this sucks.
So as soon as I heard it was gonna storm tonight, I'm like, how's Jose gonna get his Switch now? What is happening out there?
Well, I am in my car. I look like I got the boss. I can show everybody. Hold on. Can I show everybody? I can. Look, everybody. I'm literally in view at this GameStop right now.
When does it start?
Well, here's the thing. So GameStop is handling this in a very weird way this time. So
like all Nintendo products.
But so the way it's working this time is that pre-orders already sold out, as everyone probably knows. But GameStops are getting very limited quantities additional to the pre-orders, which is what I'm trying to get. And the Switch releases tomorrow at midnight, which is technically Friday. But the Switches that are not already pre-ordered will go on pre-sale 6 o'clock tomorrow p.m. So that's why I'm camping out tonight, because I really want this gosh darn Switch, and I just need a human body for 3 hours. 3 hours.
Call in sick. Reach out.
See, you want to know what's terrifying? You say limited quantities, but then you also have to factor it's a Nintendo product, which already they limit on top of things. So they're saying it's very limited for a limited product already. That's terrifying.
Nintendo's
like
already, Nintendo's already like douchey like that. I don't even want to get in on it. They're like the kings of like artificial demand. I freaking hate them for it, but whatever. All right, let's get started on this damage check.
Turn up.
All right, so welcome, Absolution fans, to damage check episode, whatever this is.
You
Petition to change the title of this damage check to Jose Take the Wheel.
So I'm gonna let Nate lead it from. I mean, not Nate and Ryan to lead it from here, and I'll just jump in whenever necessary. So thank you guys for joining us, and I'll throw it over to Ryan now.
Look at me. I am the captain now. All right, everybody, welcome to Damage Check 70, whatever the heck, and we are jumping in with our normal shenanigans. There are no shutter glasses. There is only steering wheel. I am Ryan the Doombringer Griffin. I'm almost good at Shadowverse. Worry not. Master coming soon. I'm here with the Phantom Nate.
Hey.
Waiting patiently with a plastic wrap copy of Horizon Zero Dawn, taunting him every minute of the day.
So good.
And we have the official captain, Jose Perez, waiting in line at GameStop for a Switch he's never going to get.
Shut your mouth. I'm going to get this Switch.
I'll be over there Friday. I got the Switch! Yeah! And I am, of course, the captain. So.
Wait, what?
Very good.
That's how you always start it. All right, so we're going to jump right in with the spoiler reel. Rummy Labyrinth is all released. You can look out for our full set analysis on our Facebook page if you don't already like our Facebook page, because we put a lot of exclusive content there, a lot of stuff for our fans. We like to pull a lot of Ask Absolution questions from there as well. So check out our Facebook page, give it a like, and watch for the Irish Gods Rummy Labyrinth set review and him crying over how little Harry's support was. But jumping right into the spoiler reel, I'm going to start off with Jester, Demonic Dragon, Wandering Dragon, the Pale Moon G-Guard. Single R, because apparently they just wanted all the other slots on other things that don't matter.
Lukier was worth it, friend.
Yeah. G-Guardian, when this unit is put on Guard Circle, Soul Charge 1, choose a card from your soul and call it to Guard Circle. Okay. Sure. So it's just a free 25. This is fine. I mean, assuming you have a trigger in your soul, which you probably do, because, you know, you always soul charge bad. Why not?
So sad.
I can't think of a reason really not to play this card. I mean, it's fine. It soul charges 1. You get, 25 guard for free, which a lot of, places, or a lot of things, granted, they now have, but this at least helps you out and gives you some choice in what you want where. So it's pretty good. I like it. Jose?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Ryan generally says here. That it is. It's okay. It's good. It's fine.
It's pretty good. All right. All right. Next up, we have the Granblue PG, the robber of double R slots, Seawall Banshee. So, once you use placed on Guard Circle from hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your units that is being attacked and cannot be hit until end of that battle. Side note: I do like that they're transitioning back to units and not just Vanguard. But of course, sometimes if we need the unflip, we still have to play the other ones. Woohoo! Auto, GB2, and Soul Blast 1, and choose a card from your hand and discard it, and choose one other Seawall Banshee from your drop zone and put it on the bottom of your deck. When this hollowed unit is retired, also this has hollow, if you have a Vanguard with Night Rose in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, return this card to your hand. So for GB2, Soul Blast 1, and discarding another card, and having another one in drop zone already, and putting that on the bottom of your deck, you can have this back. If you called it. With an effect. And give it hollow. At least you get a PG. I'm okay with that. So, that's our Granblue PG. That's not bad. I mean, it kind of reminds me of how Ezra's works, where they're trying to get like back to hand PGs now, which I'm okay with, I guess, for the most part. Depends on what you need to use them for. Especially when they give you infinite attack combos, you're really going to need some PGs, aren't you? Woohoo! Don't play that combo. Anyway.
Please don't play that combo.
Yeah, no. All right, so this card people actually seem to like a lot. I can see its use, but pointed Harry got nothing backbreaking. Face Magician Lapin faces the place. Magia, act rear guard circle once per turn, Generation Break 2, Counterblast 1. If you have a Vanguard with Harry and its card name, choose a grade 1 card from your soul, call it to rear guard circle, and at the bottom of the end of that turn, put the called unit into your soul. So, main phase, calling out of your soul, helps you set up your board. I'm okay with that. It's pretty good. It's GB2 and CB1, so, how much do we really like it? But, people seem to like this card, and I'm okay with that. Auto Rearguard Circle. When this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Harry and its card name, Soul Charge 1. Until end of that battle, this unit gets power plus 2000, and then if the Soul Charge card has the Magia ability, which you have no control over, this unit gets power plus 3000. Woohoo! So, I mean, you have your 14k attacker here. It makes lines by itself, so that's pretty cool. I mean, granted, the 11's really all you need unless you're doing something within the back row. Like, I mean, if you have a 7, then you're hitting 21, which is okay. So, yeah, this card's pretty okay. I like it. It's double R. The GB2 skill is a little bit concerning, but I can see why you wouldn't want it less than that. And like I said, this card isn't. It's good. It's just not backbreaking, and I think that's kind of what Harry needed to, step up its game. Nate?
Yeah, I mean, main phase call is fine, I guess, if you don't have the board built already. But I think this would have been much better on attack, you know. Little pokes. That's what the meta seems to be. Lots and lots of pokes. I don't think guard not so much little. But
Big pokes
I mean,
or little pokes? Either
big
pokes
pokes or
is
little pokes. But, you know, it's main phase. It gets you bored. That's cool, I guess. Just kind of
Yeah, I can see why they wouldn't want to have it on attack, but I mean, having it in the main phase isn't too bad either. I'm pretty okay with that. It's just so this is better if you need a board versus if you're trying to combo.
Yeah.
And it's just a different use card. And I think having a little bit of both will really help the deck along. All right, we're going to skip the rares.
Yay!
And move on to Parallel Megatrick Fairfield. Sweet. Stride, Magia, Act, Vanguard Circle once per turn. Generation Break 3, Counterblast 2, and choose a card from your soul and drop zone and put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. Okay. Choose a card from your soul, call to Rearguard Circle. It gets power plus 10,000, and critical plus 1 until end of turn, and act Rearguard Circle, Soul Blast 2. Until end of turn, this unit gets power plus 5,000, and this unit cannot be chosen by card effects. Shuffle your deck, and at the end of that turn, put that unit in your soul. So basically, you're just trying to build Voltron on your Rearguard Circle and murder them with it. Unfortunately, this is also act and can't really, you can't combo with this. So, you can't just make sure your opponent uses all of the resources and then hit them with a giant, however big line. Like, say, what is it? This could be like 36 and a crit or something, depending on what else you put on it. It's okay. It is Counterblast 2, Generation Break 3, and then if you want to use the full effect, Soul Blast 3. So, I don't know how much, that's going to hurt in general. I know Keith wasn't a huge fan of this card. He thought it was pretty meh. I mean, you could call this a finisher, I guess. But just trying to stack all that stuff on a card and make it good, it would be better if it was split, in my opinion.
He wasn't over the moon about it, which is, I think something that we should take away from that he just wasn't that excited about it. I think that speaks to the card's stage, in my opinion, but that's just me.
Especially for a GR.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's.
I
think that's the main problem we had with it.
Join the stack of unimpressive GRs. Yeah.
And you'll still buy the set for the Granblue. All right, and just to finish off spoilers, of course we have the Bushiroad screw up of the day. I guess. So you guys have probably heard about the infinite attack combo that Pale Moon has floating around. One, very situational, and you have to build a deck designed around doing it, and good luck having all the resources you need. So you need, according to Andrew, it's supposedly fairly viable. But how much do I put in? I take into account what Andrew says when he says I don't like playing tier 1 decks.
Yeah, this is very true.
So this card is Gunsalute Dragon End of Stage. Okay. Very similar to Next Stage, maybe. So it's just a single R, and it is a grade 3. So, auto, when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle by riding on a grade 3 unit, until end of turn, this unit gets auto Vanguard Circle Counterblast 2 and choose 4 of your rear guards and put them into your soul. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If you do not have any cards in your soul, you may pay the cost. If you do, stand this unit. Auto, Vanguard Circle, when this unit attacks the Vanguard, you may put all cards in your soul into the drop zone. If you do, this unit gets plus 5,000 until end of turn for each card put into your drop zone this way. So what you do essentially is, I'm going to pull up the explanation of the combo.
Okay.
Actually, guys, I'm going to make a quick announcement here. Sorry to throw off Ryan and his group here. The rain's about to pick up here in outside this game stop, so I'm actually going to bounce off this call and let these guys do their thing. I love you both very dearly. I hope I do not die in this journey. And hopefully I come out of it with a switch. So I'm going to bounce off here. Enjoy the rest of your lovely damage check, and I will see you next time, guys.
Yep. Could be. We sincerely hope it was worth it for him to stand in the line and get us. So
it's never worth it.
On day, it's never worth it. All right. I'm gonna find this combo real quick.
Okie doke.
But yeah, basically the one side is it's pretty bad and situational, and sure, you're going to win if you set it up, but also if your opponent lets you set it up, you're pretty bad. So here are the conditions. You have to have 4 damage. You have to have 2 or more Cray Elementals in your G zone. You must have Miracle Pop Ava as your Vanguard. You break right into Gun Salute Dragon and call the following units to Rearguard Circle. You have the Grade 1 Rain Elemental, and actually can't see what those are. But so basically you have to have this full field somewhere, either in your soul or in your hand. And then let me post this link in the chat. There's actually a series of them, so I'm going to somehow get the link for this post. Oh, I did it. Okay. I'm the best. All right. Come into the chat so everyone can see what this is. Boop. Hey, Full Throttle. No, you cannot join the stream.
Sorry.
Anyway, you just put this specific field on the board. And then you can attack with your rearguards first. I mean, why wouldn't you? Then you attack with end of stage with Saloon's boost. So Saloon being the one behind Gun Salute Dragon. Pale Moon card art, so not my strong suit. And you don't activate Ava's Break Ride skill. You put all of your other rearguards except Saloon into the soul and stand your Vanguard. Then you use Saloon's skill to put her into the soul and call her back out behind. And then you call the bunnies out from the soul since Saloon came out. And then you attack with the bunnies. And Vanguard attacks again. Use Ava's skill to put the 2 bunnies back in the soul and call Tightrope Tumbler and Rain Elemental Tear. Soul Charge 2 with Tumbler and Counter Charge 2 with Tear. And then units are carved from the soul, so you call the bunnies out again, and then you can just kind of do it forever. So, with that, so basically you can always replenish your costs, and you can just stand your Vanguard a rather infinite number of times if it sets up this way. Will Bushiroad errata it? Not a clue. Maybe. Because they can't.
So here's my question, Ryan. Why would I be doing this when I could have killed you far sooner with Saint Guard or Gear Chronicle or any other deck?
Just remember, Nate, in any card game, there are 3 types of gamers. There are Timmies, there are Johnnies, and there are Spikes. We are Spikes. We take great pride in being Spikes. We like to win. We will take people's deck lists. We'll make our own improvements. We'll tinker. We'll tech. We'll do whatever we have to do to get that W. Johnnies like to combo out, and that's how they take great pride in. Oh, look at this ridiculous thing I did. And we're like, well, that's annoying. Like, why did you spend any time? Like, we don't understand Johnnies.
No.
And then just to complete the trifecta, there are also Timmies who enjoy putting giant dudes and using ridiculous. See, this card, the Parallel Megatrick guy, this is a Timmy card. You just put a bunch of power on one dude and call it a strategy. That's why we don't like it. We're like, how does this make me win?
Those are the wonderful people that are running Saint Guard Imperial over Regali. Yeah. Give that grade 1 15k crit on hit. It's gonna be great.
And that was the origin of Timmy Power Gamer's name.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. I also like the fact that you're running Miracle Pop Ava.
I mean, you do that in Beast Tamers?
Yeah, once again, Ryan, I find it hilarious people are running Beast Tamers. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's all for the spoiler reel and the explanation of the infinite combo. Don't play it. If you're a Spike like we are, just don't do it. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
See, and that's the difference is we can run cards like Imperial at 1 if we want to, but that's only if we find the strategy optimal. We don't think that I make big dudes and win the game. I mean, like, sometimes it's how a deck plays, but if that deck's not good, do we care?
4 Imperial. Every deck, 4 Imperial. I don't care. Cut Regali to 2 if you have to.
Okay, Timmy. All right. All right.
Just saying. It was a solid triple R, right? Yeah, it was the triple R. It is better than Sanctuary Guard Arc based on rarity. Because that's a solid argument I can make.
You can go shove it. That's right. All right. Nate, hit us with that spicy new Vanguard news.
So nothing really happened. People need to. There needs to be chaos. Communities need to implode so we can talk about it. But
do you need to go blow up some more communities for it?
Please do. That would be lovely. I love talking about that. But really, in all seriousness, the only piece of news we had is over the week, Bushiroad officially closed the application to join the Bushiroad Judge Program, which is, from what I understand, it will be phase 1. It was phase 1 of a 2 or 3 phase program. So if you submit your application, they're going to review them all, and they will contact you again and make some cuts, all that jazz. If you didn't apply, we didn't.
Don't.
So, yeah, too late. Sorry, you missed out on nothing. So that really just kind of is the only real news point. Bushiroad Judge Program, hopefully it's in the works doing something, but that will lead into our topic because we planned this out sort of 5 minutes ahead of time, which is, Ryan, what is our topic? What did I name this video?
Our topic is holding judges to high standards.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that right. Excellent. So,
awesome.
Really coming into this I don't know, second or third iteration of the Bushiroad Judge Program. I think this is their third try. Their third try in 7 years.
Well, in all
fairness,
this
time it's for
second try in 2 years. We can go there. That makes it sound better-ish. Does it? Does it?
No.
Oh well.
So, for those who want a bit of a history on Cardfight Vanguard judging, so the first iteration was just purely volunteer. If you wanted to judge, you just kind of walked up and said, hey, I want to do this thing, and they gave you a shirt and said, yeah, come to Atlanta. So, of course, the better judges got differentiated, or the more impassioned ones who wanted to show up to all these events just got better themselves at judging. And so, by and large, we had some decent judges. Now, back then, the joke was that if you called for judge at a Cardfight Vanguard tournament, everyone raised their hand because this game was easy as crap to judge. You just read what the card said, and there weren't any complicated rulings or interesting interactions, or at the beginning of your draw phase effects or anything like that. Bushiroad's really fleshed the game's mechanics out, and so in doing so, they have created a much longer CR. And also, it doesn't help that the CR doesn't read very well, and so it's a little bit complicated. Basically, anything Bushiroad tries to put on paper will inevitably just be wrong. Let's see. In the past 3 months, they messed up a clan name again that they have done 3 times. This is the third misprint Shadow Paladin, if I'm not mistaken.
It's wonderful. And it's only good cards.
It's only good cards.
Thank you.
We messed up. Anyway, they messed up a poster that included a picture of an old pack. They messed up something on a box. I think it was the Token Ranbu box. They messed up something on the packaging. They messed up a different box. I think they also messed up the Revival Collection box. They messed up the BT09 box, GBT09, because they just didn't print the cards in triple R. Oops. So sorry. I guess we forgot to mention that we messed up. And then there was funny.
That was funny.
I just told these examples, but only because the Bushiroad Judge test was just so badly worded that it just kind of went in with everything else. I mean, our friend was taking the Vise test and just live chatting us at the same time and said, they messed up a question. This card doesn't do this thing that they're talking about. I'm looking at the card is printed next to the text of the question, and clearly there's a disconnect, and they had to change what card it was just to make the question fit. I'm like, where's my quality control? Come on. But
it was a trick question. They wanted to see who would find it.
Yeah, and you couldn't answer it. There was is this correct? That's not a choice. So they had it fixed in 4 hours or something. But still.
Efficiency. Very good.
I guess at least they're quick to respond now that they know that a scandal is at the door every minute of every day.
Oh, what a sad life.
And so as we move into this third iteration of people really just trying to stomach all of the mistakes Bushiroad makes, and we know that no company is perfect. We like to rag on them a lot. Some people don't think that's a very good strategy. We don't care about that.
We are the happy, good channel. We don't say just wait. Sorry. If anyone got that reference, good on you.
We're not making any digs here. Anyway.
Hey,
So,
I didn't say a channel name. I said a quote.
So when we say holding judges to high standards, of course, judges exist for the benefit of the tournament organizers and the players. So they really benefit both sides, and they're kind of the go-between in a competitive event. So tournament organizers hire these judges to make sure the event not only runs smoothly, but also players get a fair shake when someone cheats, slow plays, brings an illegal deck list. They want to make sure these problems are removed, because if it was a free-for-all, who knows what would happen. And players don't always catch things in the heat of the moment. That's why we see so many mistakes on stream. You'd be surprised how many more mistakes people make when they realize they're being watched, or they feel a bit of pressure, or it's an important match, considering every streamed match we see is typically table 1 or in the top 8. So, while we can forgive some player mistakes, what we really don't enjoy seeing is mistakes judges make. And judges do make mistakes. That's why we have head judges. That's why people talk about things. That's why we talk about rulings at the beginning of tournaments, just to make sure that everybody knows what's going on and that they can play the game the way they are supposed to. So for this third iteration, where judges have gotten fairly better each time, but we've still seen a lot of the lack of quality control Bushiroad possesses. We have heard of judges, posting rather distasteful things about people. We've heard, obviously there was the Grease scandal where the tournament organizers and judges conspired to make one of their friends win top 4 automatically. So with this now official Bushiroad Judge Program, for the first time, not just volunteers, unannounced, and then announced volunteering, we now have a test. We now have a phased program. Hopefully they get some sort of reward besides a shirt and some promos. But I'll let Nate take over and kind of talk about, when we talk about judges, what we want to see from this third iteration.
So I'm actually really quick going to talk briefly just about the exam, because there was one question, and I believe I have this right, that caught my attention. The chat can totally tell me if I'm wrong or not. I believe on the exam, at least that I saw a post about, there was a question that mentioned, like, when was the last time you actually played in a Bushiroad event? Which I thought was a very interesting question, which actually did bring up some questions like, are we talking about locals? Are they Bushiroad sanctioned events? Or are we just talking Bushiroad regionals? I actually thought that was a very smart question. I'm going to applaud Bushiroad, because one thing I personally, I don't know if Ryan agrees with me or not, I want to see from judges is, I want them to actually have to practice the art of judging. Because I don't like the concept that, like, say you're judging Atlanta or Florida, or wherever your event is. You're only having that event once or twice a year. If you aren't judging at all in between that time, you have missed at least with the Bushiroad release schedule, you have missed no less than 6 product releases, which all have a substantial number of cards, which all interact with things, which have erratas, which do all this different weird stuff that you have missed out on. I want to see in the program, and I think this question went a long way to showing that they're willing to do this, is requiring judges to actually judge, be it locals, Bushiroad events, even side events, like obviously they won't allow that, like ARG. I want to see judges have to practice actually judging more than once or twice a year. Because when they don't actually judge, it's easy to get lost. And I don't like having lost judges. That just sucks. But thoughts, Ryan?
No, I absolutely agree.
Hey, Hey!
release schedule is in fact crazy and the meta changes all the time. Who knows what deck we're going to see next? I mean, can you imagine someone saying like, okay, I now have to study what, all of these Granblue grade 1s do to make sure people are comboing it correctly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that Bushiroad has taken a rather, I'm going to say, deplorable stance on how their judging should work. So it's not the judges themselves that, that's beside the point. Obviously, we want good, honest, ethical, hardworking judges. That's what everybody would like when they sit down at an event. They don't want the judges to be skeezy. They don't want them to be, standing on a wall. Everyone would rather have a judge over their shoulder the whole time, unless they're one of the perpetrators the judges are trying to catch in the first place. So obviously, that's magical Christmas land. That's the dream. But we're not always going to have that. But the quality of judges will increase, and now with a test, they'll be able to they'll be able to see people's aptitude for it. And with some enforcement of maybe reading the CR over a couple of times and making sure that they're up to date with erratas and rulings, that's great. Increasing quality. But when we also want to hold judges to high standards, we also want to hold a judging program to high standards. That means how Bushiroad takes its stance on judges. So, as some of you said in the chat, Corum, and also a few others, how Bushiroad pays their judges and how their judges are going to interact with people, especially on public streaming, matters a lot. And a lot of what we've seen is not only have the judges not been great, but they're kind of also hamstringed by the policies Bushiroad sets down. So from the very beginning, Bushiroad has taken a reactive judging stance. So people have to request a judge for a judge to do anything. One of the players has to. So if neither player catches a mistake that changes the game state, apparently it just doesn't matter, even though that's not how the game is played. And honestly, a good number of times it will influence how the game outcome happens. And so with that reactive judging stance, we were watching a Vanguard stream and somebody made a very clear misplay that we called in on, and it was already too far gone. And that's kind of like the mistake was too far gone. And the guy who made the mistake and essentially drew extra cards or didn't draw cards, as he was supposed to, won the game. Was it because of the misplay? No. But should that game have continued all? No. He created an illegal board state. That's a game loss. Goodbye. There's nothing we can do about this. And apparently, to keep digging on Bushiroad doesn't understand why that's a bad thing. If you show no respect for your own rules and taking a proactive stance on how judging works, then why should we respect any of your rules at all? If all I have to do is fool my opponent for 5 seconds and I can do whatever I want, what kind of precedent does that stand? And of course, that's an extreme example. Most people will catch those things, and most people, are looking out for stuff. As well you should be. We've talked about this previously. Make sure that you are not being cheated. Watch out for those signs when you go to an event. It does happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. But the fact that judges can do absolutely nothing while they're on the floor patrolling without a request from a player is ludicrous. If they see an illegal play, they need to stop it. If someone, Magic at the very high level, if anyone, no matter who it is, sees an illegal play, they can call a judge. The judge can walk around and see an illegal. That can't happen. No, what happened here? You've created a system where there just isn't any respect for the rules, and I don't really like that at all from Bushiroad's standpoint. Of course, they want people to actually be able to play the game, but if they're not playing it correctly, that's a problem, and they need to address that. Furthermore, and jumping onto a different subject now, the way Bushiroad takes its stance on paying judges, what does anybody want with a shirt and a promo? Like, I'm not going to put judging Bushiroad events on my resume here. Like, this isn't an opportunity for me. I do this because I want to. And if I want to, that's great. But also, Bushiroad, this is what I don't understand. For any card company that prints its own money, essentially, you make boxes of printed cardboard that sell for, depending on, let's say we're ordering from Potomac here. Let's say we order a box and it costs us, I don't know, $65, for example. How much does it cost Bushiroad to produce that boxes? I'm going to go with very little, considering you have the designs, you have the printers, you have the cardboard, you have the wrappings, you have the box, the plastic wrap, and then the shipping costs. And of course, you had to pay R&D and your executives and whoever in between. That's fine. That all goes in. But you're telling me that the little bit extra it would take to produce another box of product, a few more packs of product, just so your judges have something they can take home? I mean, think about that. Would you rather pay somebody $100 or give them 2 boxes of product? It seems like a lot better of an idea to give them the product, considering it costs you no additional money than you had already planned for. But you're giving these people a useful reward. Yet apparently they don't really see that. They see, well, here's a special promo. It's not worth anything. We printed you 1 card. Can anybody tell me what a viable strategy that is? Can anybody tell me why Bushiroad just doesn't give its judges product? It can't be too much product to print. It can't be. You have so much of it. You're not Nintendo. You don't short print your boxes. You short print your cards. There's a difference. And I don't really understand why it's just so hard to give judges something they can really be proud of. Like, people should want to judge for you. And if they do, you create a supply and demand problem where you end up with the better quality product, and that's how capitalism supposedly works. Apparently, they don't like that system very much, and I really couldn't tell you why. And so, Bushiroad, of course, we want to hold you to a high standard on how you tackle this new era of judges, because it's easy to pay judges in products, so they want to be there. You don't get disgruntled judges who try to get their value in other ways by either selling off their collections at your events instead of doing things, or what have you. And also, you end up with, like we said, higher quality judges who, if you take a more proactive stance, will be allowed to move about and make sure the game is being played correctly at all times. But of course, you're busy, too busy losing tourney reports. So, who am I to talk?
So I'm going to make a really quick slam. I can tell you exactly why they have not given judges product of Cardfight Vanguard specifically. That is because some judges openly do not play Cardfight Vanguard. There you go.
Yeah, but they know what it's worth. Yeah, but they fixed that. When was the last time you played at a Bushiroad event? Was it? Huh? Do you play our game? Do you like our game? If you don't like our game, get out.
Just saying, in the past, there's a reasonable justification that judges don't actually play the game.
It's still free money.
I get your point.
And sell the box.
I'm just saying. From an argumentative standpoint.
I don't like your bad apple spoils the bunch example, Nate.
Sorry.
Give me something.
I mean, you're absolutely right, though. The point that really got to me was I really, really hate reactive judging policy. I think that is the stupidest thing on earth. That's like I could let you do anything in the world you want, and it's not going to be illegal. You're not going to get in trouble unless someone else calls you out on it. Like, that's a stupid way to run society. We have laws. They're enforced for a reason. Now, obviously, I think the Cardfight Vanguard community overall is a great community. We don't have a ton of thieves running around where I have to lock my book bag to my chair like I might at some other card games. But there still are those few people who are going to take advantage of the system. I'm not going to name names because I personally don't know people like that. But hypothetically, if I knew I get called out by a judge for making a misplay, it was all on my opponent. And if I knew my opponent was either very quiet, like I tend to be, very new, or if they were just, a little nervous, a little intimidated, all I would have to do is play fast and do really whatever the hell I wanted, because chances are they're not going to call me out on it. And I could basically cheat my way to winning. Obviously, I wouldn't do that. I hope there wouldn't be people who do that, but there are. So when you have a retroactive policy, you invite that kind of personality to take advantage. And you really don't want that. You really want Vanguard to be the... Yeah, you want Vanguard to be the card game that people come to because it's honest. Because we could, though we know not to do this, all right, leave your playmats and they'll be there.
That was Jose's fault. I still blame Jose.
Jose, Vanguard needs to be this upfront, honest community because there are a lot of other games who aren't. And I think Vanguard can really take advantage of kind of the good-natured people Vanguard has, which kind of goes back to last week's Names Check. But anyways, I really hate that policy. And any disagreeing with me, Ryan?
Nope.
Myself?
Not at all. What this game needs is people like Jorge, over your shoulder. You cannot do that. No, Judge.
Yeah, but
Jorge like significantly more Portuguese.
Oh, well. Yeah. I'm sure he speaks it somehow, Ryan. Don't worry. See, there you go. But Jorge, though I know Jorge would never intentionally cheat me. I know that as a fact. But Jorge is just the kind of person who naturally plays fast. He's naturally really intimidating. If, like, playing Angel Feather, if you've never seen Jorge play, it's actually really intimidating. Jorge really doesn't explain the effects a lot. He doesn't say this is exactly why this is happening unless I ask him about it.
His board state's a
that
mess.
Kind of person. I know Jorge would never cheat me, but people that do that are the most susceptible to be able to take advantage of this system. The people that go fast, that don't explain the rules, they could theoretically cheat you, and the judges are kind of powerless to stop it unless you actually say, I think I'm being cheated. And I really think that's also just a bad mentality. The Vanguard player base should not have to go into a tournament with the mindset of, okay, I have to watch because every player has the opportunity to cheat me and no one else can call them out on it except me. You want your players going in saying, they're judges. They're going to help me out if a problem arises. I shouldn't have to be looking at my opponent with this air of suspicion. That's just bad. That's uninviting. Yeah. That's my thought on that.
No, I agree. And especially now that Bushiroad has started streaming its finals and whatnot, we shouldn't have to use mounting public pressure on the finals of a card game when there's a 30-second delay on a streaming service nobody watches to get a major misplay called out. That shouldn't happen. When you have 4 judges standing around one match for the sole purpose of watching that match and make sure a fair final game is being played, why do you have any judges at all if they can't do anything about it? What, are they just like supposed to all swarm the guy as soon as he asks for help? No, you're there to be a watchful eye. That's what your job is. And if Bushiroad, you don't get that, I don't really understand. I say this a lot. I don't understand why you run your game or for what reasons you run this game the way you do. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. I think there are a lot of things about your game that you could do a lot better, and I think this is a good step to make sure people are having fun, aren't being cheated. And that's just my 2 cents. You made a game where everything's on the table, and there are a lot of public resources for your opponent to look at. So with that amount of, player policing, where there are only like 2 to 3 hidden zones now, it's a lot easier to just also see what's going on at all times. Like, there's no card I can just put somewhere and hide it from my opponent. There's like 6 squares on the board and a drop zone and a deck and the damage, and it's in the soul, and that's it. Like, you see where all the cards go. There's no card I have to place face down and try and trick you about it. You gave yourself a really good start, but then you squandered it, not once, not twice, and hopefully not the 3rd time.
Please no.
Please no. And that's our topic. So let the Ask Absolutions rain down. It's about that time. We're gonna keep it short. Jose's not here. He's out getting his Switch. If you're just joining us, he is standing in line for 21 hours to get this thing because he is a sheep. He's a little sheepy sheep in the rain. I never understood the whole word. I've gone to 1 midnight release, and it was Pokemon X and Y. And obviously for good reason.
I've gone to 2. They were both for Call of Duty.
I'm not surprised.
And they were both fantastic games. Actually, I take it back. Ghost was not a very good game. I was just very good at it. There's a very big difference there. Black Ops 2, however, was a fantastic game. and I waited in line at midnight for it, and I was quite pleased.
And then Jose walks in and gets it for free later.
Oh my god. I think he's legitimately
He has the devil's own luck.
He's played like 2 matches in the entire game. I'm like, what a waste.
Role played of Overwatch.
Oh my gosh, that kills me. It's such a good game too. There's no reason not to play it. But yeah. Yeah, I've quit doing midnight releases. I just do Amazon day delivery. That's fine.
Amazon, like, and a week later they have it on sale, and you're like, nice.
Yeah, and if you pre-order from Amazon, you get like automatically 20% off, and I'm like, okay, I'll get it like 12 hours late. Oh my gosh, what a crime! Sell it, so it's better than buying digital. So,
all right. Remember, if you want your question answered, please put hashtag #AskAbsolution. What do you think of the new Grade 3 Asha? I think the SP is entirely too expensive. $170? Really, Neonectar players? What are you trying to do here? What? Why? Go buy yourself the SP pack for that much, damn you. You don't need shiny cards that badly, and if you do, well, you are a rich man. Also noticing that, like, the 2 clans that people will shell out more than anything for are most definitely Bermuda Triangle, because Bermuda Triangle, and Neonectar. Yes. I think it's such a weird, like, Pale Moon, they had Lukier, but they had like 1 expensive card. Neonectar has so many expensive SPs, it's absurd. Why do they have so many? Why do people keep buying them? Please stop. You're honestly scaring me a little.
I don't know, Ryan.
Hashtag #AskAbsolution. How good do you think Luard Diablo is? Well, it's the build that we're playing. That's right. You heard it here first. We got that nice, spicy Luard deck. A deck profile coming to a video near you.
Eventually.
Yeah, we're going to play Luard Diablo. It seems... I think we're going to like it better than pure Luard.
Mm-hmm.
But Luard Diablo is a lot of what we've been seeing. And that's definitely what we're going to start with.
Yeah. In terms of the meta, I think it's a fine deck. I wouldn't say it's tier 1. I would definitely say it competes with everything except Vanguard, Gear Chronicle, and maybe Night Rose. We've kind of yet to see how that matchup's going to play out, but it's a solid deck, and it really is topping a lot right now just because of how popular it is. But that's a giant conversation about, does deck popularity go into what's meta and yada yada. Mid to high tier 2, it's fine deck. It's not Gear Chronicle, but it's going to win games.
You know, why not?
Yeah.
All right, speed round. Hashtag #AskAbsolution. What do you think of Angel Feather Alt TL? I hated it so much I sold the deck. Hashtag #AskAbsolution. Asha Triple R is $35. How are you doing? I'm broke. Hashtag #AskAbsolution. Are you picking up anything for Trinity Dragon or Try 3 next? Character boosters. What decks are you building? So, Royal Paladins, Rose. We got to get D-Police, and we have to get
D-Robos.
Yeah, what's the other one? Great Nature. Gotta get the Great Nature.
Yeah.
So about half of the clans, I guess. Oh, and also we'll pick up any good Gear Chronicle stuff if it finds its way into a deck. I'm not really sure. Not? Yeah, this deck has so many good cards. Like, which good cards do you want to play now at 1? You know. Hashtag #AskAbsolution. So, say myself and a couple of friends make it through the process to become a judge. What would you like us to focus the most on? Lobbying Bushiroad. Lobby Bushiroad. Make them do things. You are the people they listen to now.
They do not listen to us.
Gather as many judges as you can and say, look, we feel like it would be a lot better if we did this, and since we're actually going to be there and not you, let us do it this way. Hashtag Absolution. Are you ready to get violated by a Jezla's cosplayer in round 1 of regionals? No, because you're playing Nova Grapplers and I counter you. Hashtag Absolution. What do you think of the promo that came with the sneak of Try 3? We don't cover promos on this show. Hashtag Absolution. What about Witch Luard? Interesting. It's kind of spicy. So we saw that deck and we're like, Nate, you want to try this?
Do I want to buy more Luard? No.
I mean,
That's cool.
I'm assuming at some point you're going to have the cards from us.
Eventually.
So, yeah.
I mean, we'll try it out. I see no reason not to try it. I just think Diablo is overall the more consistent build. I'll say it that way. Saying better can get me in trouble. The more consistent build.
Hashtag Ask Absolution. Do you think of regionals this year? Regionals this year were a little bit disappointing.
We do not think.
We do not think of regionals. A little bit disappointed in how they decided to do them and how sloppily it was rolled out. And the Bushiroad stance was obviously you play all 3 of our games, you have all of the money in the world if you play card games. If you don't have our game near you, just go play a different game because you do that, right? No, we do not. Now they have all the games at all the regionals.
Yeah, it really was looking to be this weird, hey, if you're in Florida, you can play Cardfight once a year, and then the next half, you'll get everything else. And it's just like, that's a really crappy way to do people. Because if you are
I don't want to drive from Florida to New Jersey for this garbage.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, it's like, so it's better now. After people kind of got mad about it, they at least changed. Yay.
Mounting public pressure, at least it works sometimes.
We didn't just get a vanilla apology letter. I consider this progress.
Nate, please, when you get back into a dorm/apartment, please make a wall of Bushiroad apology letters.
Oh, that will be my wallpaper. It's going to be lovely.
Yes. I want Vanguard characters drawn on, and then like the Bushiroad apology letter printed over it. Just like print out Bushiroad apology letters and commission fans to write draws pictures on Bushiroad apology letters and mail them to Nate. Would that be our new Facebook promotion?
Maybe like a giant mural of nothing but the Cardfight online cancellation apology letters with a giant mural of just everyone crying. I think that would be lovely. I think that would be a great way to enter the room, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hashtag Ask Absolution. Do you feel Luard being the McDeck justifies the hype price? Is that Ronald McDonald's like main deck of choice? I'm okay with that. Do I feel like what? Oh, do I feel like Luard being the main character deck? Okay, I understand what you mean. It's Shadow Paladins. It honestly doesn't matter. Like, sure, Gurgoyt's expensive, but he's also pretty good. Like, the hype price was more or less a buyout than the cards being good themselves. I mean, they're like we said, they top a lot. They're pretty good. We like them. We picked up the deck. They did get ridiculously expensive. We weren't terribly happy about that. And I think it was a pretty large barrier to entry. But the McDeck was a lot funnier. I like that a lot. No dollar menu here. just Grand Mag. 100 of them.
Oh my god, that's terrifying. All
right, I have to read this one. The Cardfight online cancellation announcement, but every letter is made of pictures of players crying.
See? That's a great way to enter a room.
I love that meme. Such a good meme. Cheers to you, Jizzless. You were in there. All right, shout out to the man in chat who thinks he's going to build an $80 budget Asha deck. No, don't do that. You can maybe build the Maiden of for that. No, it is not.
So I'm going to kind of modify this one. Hashtag Ask Absolution. How would you improve the judge system for Vanguard? I'm going to limit it. If you could change one thing about the judge system, what would you pick? Of the many things we would want to change, what would be the one?
I'm going to go with proactive judging system.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I need the judges to judge. That's what I need them to do.
That would be really nice.
That's what they're here for. You see something, say something.
Yeah. Oh, Asha, why are we talking about you? It was such a good day up until now.
Hashtag Ask Absolution. Thoughts on Granblue post GCHB03. These set names are absolutely nuts. Japan seems to think it's tier 0 over Chrono Cancer and Luard. I am inclined to agree with that. They are playing the heck out of Night Rose, and that's, I mean, what honestly decides a meta? Is it the rate of play? Is it the number of tops they get? Do those things interact with each other? Usually the answer is yes to a lot of those things. I mean, what's popular and what tops are typically kind of the same thing, but people don't typically play bad decks a lot. There will be some people that do because they love those decks. It could have a pretty large following. Like you might see a lot of Bermuda players in the summer. They are hardcore fans, and the decks are usually pretty okay enough to justify a spot. Or if you're the only person who knows what you're doing, there's a significant advantage in that. See the example of the two tournament mechanic abuse Glendios. That needs a better name. I'll call it Time Attack Glendios, where they abused the exact tournament format to steal wins and top. It was really funny. But like that wasn't popular, but it was really good, but only because they abused tournament mechanics, you see? So they are playing the heck out of Night Rose, and apparently it's doing really, really well. So, I mean, I'm inclined to agree with them. I think post GCHB03, Night Rose is going to be really good, considering how much support they got over Harry and the rest of Pale Moon. Yeah, I'll take that to the top.
I'm gonna throw my 2 cents in. Yes, it's gonna be tier 0. But barring that Gear Chronicle is 25% and the next best deck is like 12%, I personally think the deck is going to hover right there around Vanguard, around a 10 to 15% range of all tops. I really don't think it's going to challenge Gear Chronicle for its 25% meta dominance. But if we're cutting the tiers like that, yeah, that's technically tier 0. So very good, but not Gear Chronicle good, just because.
Good Chronicle is Prime, you mean?
Yeah. It's Prime that's lasted way too long.
Indeed. Hashtag Ask Absolution. Why do you think Bushiroad made the Pale Moon part of Rummy Labyrinth Character Booster so lacking? I don't know. Either they were scared that Pale Moon would be really good if they gave them anything else, but I feel like the deck just wasn't good enough in the first place. Like, okay, obviously by now they know how to design fair cards that are going to be good. Like, Denial Griffin's a really strong card that made Kagero good. It wasn't busted. It was really good at the time. It was the best G-Guard out there. That didn't mean the deck just like took over. It was, fairly well played in terms of numbers. But they didn't just stomp over everything, and that was in the middle of like Gear Chronicle Angel Feather dominance time. And Kagero still was able to hold its own because they had a couple good cards. Pale Moon didn't really receive anything like that, and either they couldn't think of anything, which who knows how well their R&D system works. But I don't know. I think they also really clung to the fact that Granblue has 2 archetypes that are currently supported, but their general support works with both. You can have a good card and play it in 7 Seas or play it in Night Rose, and maybe you can only use half the effects, but hey, at least you can still use the card if it's decent. Pale Moon, you have 3 archetypes being supported. They don't work well together at all. And when you're dividing up an already pretty lackluster pie among 3 different archetypes, you've soiled it. And that's kind of what happened here, I think. It was just didn't work out. Our friend Muhammad asks, hashtag Ask Absolution, is it me or with Yu-Gi-Oh! Adding the link summoning system, do you think card games nowadays are being a bit complex like Vanguard? And then he asks, hashtag Ask Absolution, will Vanguard be better if they implement their own extra monster zone like what Yu-Gi-Oh! Does? I don't think so.
Deck?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the extra deck. I think he's talking about how now in Yu-Gi-Oh! You have the extra little zone to put stuff in. That's kind of what the Vanguard is, and I think that's kind of how Stride has worked since the beginning. We're only just now getting extra deck cards outside of that zone with the Asui upgrades in Murakumo. So I don't really know how that would work. Unless you just had unless you had a buddy, like in Buddy Fight or whatever, that does something like an avatar card. I don't know. Please don't implement that. I can only imagine. Maybe then they'll let me film Weeby Fight.
No.
Please, Nate, please. Hashtag Ask Absolution. Is Luard without the Lord Stride and the G Guardians good? Go play Diablo instead.
Oh.
Why are you doing this? Nate, in your opinion, I mean, granted, like, you could not run the Luard Stride, I guess, and just run the Ritual Engine, but that's just, like, I'd rather just be using the Diablo effects at that point if I'm not getting any special treatment from a Luard Stride.
Yeah, because really, I mean, Luard is essentially Vortimer Diablo with a heavier cost but less restrictive. So you really could get away with just running a Diablo deck and essentially getting the same effects off. A little more restrictive, but really what strides are you going into that aren't Luard and aren't Diablo? So yeah, I mean, I understand the ritual stuff is good, but the Diablo engine is generally more powerful. So if you're not going to be using the large strides to make the columns, which is why you run the strides, you're better off just using pure Diablos.
I agree. And if you don't have plot makers, you need plot makers.
You're in trouble.
You're running 3 Scryus. That's what you're doing. You're running like a Gleam and that other disappointing Fighters Collection. Just wait. Nate, we just gotta wait until Fighters Collection so we can get a new Shadow G Guard, and it's gonna be K. It's gonna be K. It's not gonna be Frederick 2.0.
Oh my god.
When the flavor is bitter, you know, you try to make a flavor G Guard, and the flavor doesn't work out at all.
It was awful. It tried to enable Ritual before Ritual was a thing, and it wasn't good.
Also, if I don't have a Ritual by the time that I'm able to G Guard, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah.
Come on.
You could literally do the Jose route and discard 3 grade 1s and get there. You could.
We'll go.
Yeah.
The deck rewards risk, Nate. We'll learn soon enough.
Oh Lord, no, please. Mistakes were
Hashtag
made.
Ask Absolution. Do you think you could make Neonectar Asha deck without the grade 4? Our experts in the chat disagree with you, my good man. If you're not playing a strictly rush deck, and you're not striding, I mean, without the grade 4 Asha, like, I feel like you're doing it wrong. So actually, Andrew showed me this really cool Maiden of deck that just kind of forces itself down your opponent's throat, and they just end up taking a bunch of damage. It's not great, but at least it was fun. It was probably cheap. I would suggest, granted, if you really want to play Asha, play the best strides that you can. You can't not play strides. Don't do that thing.
In Asha, oh my god.
What? If you can survive, I mean, it's a stride deck. You're going to need those cards at some point. I don't care how you get them. Wait for the next revival collection, whatever. I mean, do your best. When I get asked a question like this, and of course I would rather someone say, I don't have the money to buy that card. Because sometimes I don't have the money to buy those cards. Why didn't we just build Luard out of our wallets? Because we can't. It's not viable. Why would we do that if we don't have the money? That's always a fine excuse with me.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for anyone who asks me that kind of question. Normally when people say, I have this budget, I want to make this deck, I say, well, maybe let's not do that. Here's a different deck you can make on that budget at a full competitive level, because that's what we focus on, the full competitive experience that Cardfight Vanguard provides. We are Spike players, in terms of like the player types. That's what we do.
Not Spike Bros.
What I don't ever want to hear, and of course, there is no accusation here to anyone at all. Not ruffling any feathers at all. All those feathers are nice, sleek, and crisp. Do not ever tell me that you are playing a strictly worse version of a deck because you think it's better, because that's the way you've always done it. That is an anti-competitive mindset. Don't lie to yourself, and don't lie to me.
That's what other channels are for. Go over there.
Now, as I said before, if if you have a certain budget and you really want to do a thing and that's the thing you're going to do, I recommend you play the best strides that you can.
Yep.
And pull those packs, and find that card that you need. I mean, do what you got to do. And that's okay.
Yeah. I think in the end, it's going to come down to, if you want to play Asha, you are going to have to wrestle with yourself. The Asha stride is going to help you win a lot of games. Are you willing to pay that money to win those games? If not, that's fine, but don't make the excuse, I think it's better without it. The deck is better with it, it's just how much better, and do you see the value in that? If not,
and if you can really prove that it is better, congratulations, you're the new standard. You know, that's how metas and card game advancement work. I mean, if you think you can make it run, but
go for it. Talk some tourneys. Prove us wrong.
You're always welcome to prove us wrong. We are men of science. We are men of a competitive nature. We will admit when we're wrong. We will change our minds. That's just how it works. If you prove us wrong, what are we going to say to you? Hey, we thought we were right at the time, but congratulations. You know, you changed our minds. Good job. You did it. But until then, I'm running with, you know, the opinions of experts, the people who, you know, play these decks at, Lord knows, max rarity. Mr. Who said they were going to... Oh, here we go. My Asha deck is around a $900 deck because SPs. Yeah, it's this guy, Lexabel Jaeger. Yep, that's him. Right there.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to default to his opinion. Hey, Eternal Ringmaster stream's going great.
Yeah. What do you have against Spike Bros? JK, when do you think they'll get good? Not for a long time, my friend.
Oh, they really missed the boat this time, too. I was super upset about that and how they got a $3 triple R. Like, come on. Like, show the boys some love. That deck is fun as all hell. And, you know, Spike Brothers is like, it's not the same fear you get when you play against D-Police. When you play against Spike Brothers, you put yourself in the bad situation. You're like, I have to try and win the game. I put him at 3. I have to flip double crits to win, or he's just going to combo me out. And then you don't flip him, and the Spike player says,
oh, no.
You didn't make it, boy. Here's 20 attacks. Enjoy your... And it's that kind of fear that you don't want to put yourself in that situation, but you have to. You have to try and win the game, and you can make that choice. You can try and control and make the game last longer, or you could just bite that bullet. You got to carry that weight. T-Police is just bull because you're like, here's 4 damage. You're like, goodbye. There's nothing you could do about this. Here comes the pain train indeed, Brave V Decker. Hashtag Ask Absolution on a scale of Coral to 10. Yeah, you're not wrong. How would you rate Blouse after the update? I give him a nice and toasty. Nate gives him a 6 out of 10. Granted, 10, you know, is really high on that scale.
Okay.
So we gonna see. Nate's not a Blau player. He doesn't like them.
Okay.
But Keith will go like, Blouse! Yeah, Blouse! Just hit up Keith. He'll tell you.
Yeah. If Gear Chronicle is a 10, I might have to downgrade Blouse. Because I think there would be a giant leap between the 10 and the, 8 and 7 and 6. I think St. Guard might be in the 8.5. Yeah. 5.5. I'll go there. Cool.
Hashtag Ask Absolution. What is your favorite Angel Feather unit and why? What is my favorite Angel Feather unit? I mean, granted, I played this clan, so I really should know. My favorite Angel Feather card to play was... See, I've played every iteration of Angel Feather since its inception.
Can I
the
answer?
Newest one.
I know what my favorite is.
Is it Refros? It better be Refros.
Is Refros a stride? What's Refros?
No. Refros is the stand trigger, Nate. The one that's banned.
Oh, favorite Angel Feather unit. Oh. No, I'm actually going to say the stride. I don't know its name because I don't care that much. The stride that just lets you heal a damage.
Raphael?
Yeah. I understand that's probably not the best card in the clan, but I actually like that card just because it's simple. It does what Angels needed to do. It just heals. Done. We always talk about cards with very little text, and they can be dangerously good. good card because it didn't have conditions. It was Persona Flip, heal, enjoy. That's what's my favorite. May not be the best, but philosophically, it was a very well-designed card. Bravo.
I think New Stride Gavrail is probably my favorite now, just because of how interesting it is and how they really started using their damage zone to do something to take additional damage that didn't like disparage them. Like we've seen like swapping things out, but the fact that this time they took damage to turn on triggers, to turn on effects, to do things like that, I thought that was really cool. And I liked that a lot when I played it. RIP our Angel Feather deck. Goodbye. Hashtag Ask Absolution, what do you think about the new Grid 3 and Grade 4? They're real good. Hashtag Ask Absolution, is Blouse or Beast Deities better to get back to Nova's? Blouse. Blouse for sure. 100% Blouse. Do that thing. Don't hurt yourself with Beast Deities. But hey, if you want a Beast Deities deck, I'll sell it to you. A Lamau. Oh, yes. They're reminding me of Mobile Hospital Feather Palace. If you hit on a Mega Blast, you heal all of your damage. Woohoo. You know who got that off? No one ever.
But
we
now
had to set 1 PGs.
Now don't you have the Cray Elemental that can help with that?
I don't care about that.
But it reduces.
I don't care about having the Mega Blast cost. I care about getting the effect off. Get out of here. What?
So tasty.
How much? Hit me up on Facebook, yo. You know who I am. Who here has Complete Luard, and how much did you spend on it? I spent 120 just getting the cards that the deck I swapped for did not have. So, that.
That was a very half answer. What deck did you swap for it?
Oh, swapped Angel Feathers. Valued at like 400, so...
Oh my god.
But
why is that deck so expensive?
Well, it also came with like all of the Diablo cards, so...
Yeah,
I had to go out and get the rest of the Luard cards it didn't come with. Also, it came with like an SP Karma Collector. That was kind of cool. Do you need any Karma Collectors?
I do not. I got my 4 before they turned into like $20 cards. I was smart. Actually, I think they've dropped again, so good news. Because we got another busted PG. Gee, thanks. Not that on Flip was busted by any stretch of the imagination.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, it was just better than the drop in the main PG. Yep. Oh my god. Firefang 92. A friend got off Mobile Hospital twice in one game. That's stupid. Why would that happen? How did they have the soul for that? Please.
Lyric T asks, hashtag Ask Absolution, what's the deck you're most hopeful for at G-Set 11? Do you know who I am? I'm the Doombringer Griffin. What deck do you think I want? Kagero, please. Kagero, please. No.
I'm going to hope for Nubatama because they have the least to lose.
Yeah. You're not wrong about that. Hashtag Ask Absolution, best dimensional police deck to play D-Robos. Play the D-Robos, play that good, play the, whatever iteration shakes out after Trinity Dragon. Play that one. But it's probably going to have something to do with murder you with...
lots of crits.
with erupting burning finger. All right. We're going to end this at about 8:50, so pass me your final questions. Hashtag Ask Absolution, do you think Brave will change Sanctuary?
Nope.
Or challenge Sanctuary, my mistake.
Nope.
I don't know what that deck can do. I mean, they gave it like a more... I think what they're trying to do with it is take it in a more of a Night Rose direction. Like, Night Rose was always about... 7 Seas could finish you off early to mid-game, and Night Rose would definitely have the better advantage late game, but they haven't even really done that for Brave. Sanctuary Guard is just better at all times.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I know Jose built his deck like this. I honestly think the Blaster Engine limits the Brave deck. And I was actually really upset Jose took out all the Brave cards for the Blaster Engine because the Brave mechanic itself is bad. Let's all be clear about that. But the deck itself really got good after its second stride, because it gave Sanctuary Guard level power, but you were also consistently getting 5+ attacks. Now, albeit Blaster can get 4 and it'd be very consistent, but it gets lots of attacks. They're very large, but it's just too slow right now, and they don't have a way to speed it up. So, yeah. Lots of pokes, just too slow. Gear Chronicle does it turn 3 or turn 4. You're not there yet.
Hashtag Ask Absolution. What do you think is the most bird-based clan? Oracle Think Tank? Oracle Think Tank.
Yeah.
We're going to have to count how many birds everything has now. It's either a Great Nature or Oracle Think Tank. Although
I feel like
is also in the running.
Genesis. I feel like Genesis
has
probably
more
has a lot.
birds.
I feel like they've got quite a few. They've got lots of owls. You'll remember.
That is true. All right, somebody count how many birds are between Great Nature, Oracle Think Tank, and Genesis. My bet is Oracle Think Tank. Hashtag Ask Absolution. Do you think Bushiroad will ever make quintet walls good for other clans like they did Dark Regular Blade Wings? I think it's more of an archetype question. It's pretty interesting, but honestly, I think that, I mean, they did make some good quintet walls. They made that really awesome Gear Chronicle one. What's her name? I don't remember. The Gear Chronicle one from set 7. She was really cool in Tiger, and she was also pretty good at one in Chrono Jet. That's what I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag Ask Absolution. As an Angel Feather player, what was the most rewarding deck to beat? Well, if you ask Jorge, he'll say Link Joker, but that never happened.
It's the counter, though, Ryan.
Yeah. I had the counter. Aquaforce has 2 birds. Thank you, sir. Royal Paladin also has a lot of birds.
Do they?
I mean, maybe.
They just have a lot of cards. I think that's might be why they would win.
Yeah, for real. All right, thank you everyone for tuning into Damage Check. Just to be sure, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Ultra Reality Games. Be sure to check out the next ARG Circuit Series on argcircuitseries.com, and also check out their Facebook page. And do not message Jim; he doesn't like that.
No. And just a quick reminder, we have a video games channel, and at 10 o'clock, so an hour and 10 minutes, perfect time for me to eat, we're going to be live streaming Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a launch title. It's supposedly good. You should tune in. Link in the description below.
Watch Nate saltily play Horizon Zero Dawn.
I will not be salty. I will play at max difficulty and not die.
All right. Enjoy it. All right.
Actually, I don't know if it has a difficulty selector. I should probably find this out. I would imagine
Here we go.
does, right?
Let's watch Nate die to giant robot dinosaurs.
Hey,
Full throttle, you definitely want to be on.
if I'm gonna die, I want to die to giant robot dinosaurs. That's a pretty cool way to die, to be honest.
Hey man, I'll always take the life of Brian.
Yeah,
You know?
it's gonna be awesome.
Chased off a cliff, being chased by beautiful women. We'll take those.
Yes.
All right, everyone. This has been Damage Check 70-something. This has been Doombringer Griffin, the temporary captain, and the Phantom Nate, signing off.
Yep.
Road. Don't mess up your judge program. Don't do it. Peace.
Peace.